philosophical stance and impact on personal practice.
Yeah.
How's it gone?
Because this is a topic I've never done before, it was hard. And I didn't really think I had a philosophical stance, but clearly I do.
Yeah.
I think doing the research about various different philosophers has made me realise that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. What sort of stuck out for you?
So Epictetus particularly, I found myself kind of going back to quite a lot every time I saw his name. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll do a bit more on him. And I did realise quite quickly that was because I resonated with a lot of what he was saying.
Yeah.
So
totally.
one of his quotes that really stood out was, "There is only one way to happiness, and that is to cease worrying about things which are beyond the power of our will." And I can relate that back to kind of where I am now with my worries and what I choose to worry about.
Okay.
As I've spoken about before, I did have issues with worrying when I was as a child. Not that I knew that was what it was, but it did make me quite, it hurt. I had really bad stomach pains through worry, and I think that has now made my outlook on life, or my philosophical stance to be that I will only worry about things that I can change, because if I can't change them, there's no point in me worrying about them. There's nothing I can do.
Yeah. So how do you think that would impact you as a counsellor?
Yeah, I've thought about this, and I think if I get a client, and I know if I've had friends that have worries that are either very small or they're worried about something beyond their control, there is a part of me that goes, oh, for goodness sake, come on.
Right.
Why are you worried about that?
Okay.
So I do worry that in a counselling mode I would have that same thought.
Okay.
But I've already learned from doing this that that's not the case, that I realise that everyone is individual, and that one worry might be an amalgamation of lots of big worries.
Definitely.
And I would learn to try and understand more about that from their point of view rather than mine, because I've learned we are different people.
We are different people, definitely.
And I can't use what I believe and my philosophical stance to relate that to somebody else. I've got to learn to walk beside them and understand it from their point of view. Right, you, what have you?
So, Epictetus, definitely. The fact that, he came from such a disadvantaged point. He was a slave, he was lame, and the fact that he found it within himself to better himself, for want of a better expression, to become the best that he could, which also is, sort of self-actualisation, which comes into humanism. Although he was very, very sort of behaviourist, that's a lot of behaviourism comes from his philosophy, he definitely resonates with me. When I did this research, I was definitely drawn to the more sort of behaviourist Socrates, the logical side of things, and I think that's because I am very logical. Numbers, things, logic makes sense to me. So the behaviourist, that type of philosophy, that just stuck with me. I found like Kierkegaard, the 3 stages of life, doesn't stick with me the way that Socrates, can you change it? How can you change it? Why do you feel this way? That sort of Socratic questioning, that makes sense to me.
So how is this going to impact on any future counselling practice you may have?
I think that I would tend to err towards CBT because it is logical and it does make sense to me. Although, I guess as we're studying integrative, like a combination of the 3, although I do CBT,
you find yourself going
Yeah.
there a bit more? Yeah,
I think
similar.
so.
I'm the same. I
Yeah.
can see more benefits from CBT at the minute. I found kind of that whole stoicism and the philosophy that we're going to have, even though you and I are going to witness the same event, it's not that event that is going to matter, it's what we take from that
Yeah.
and what our feelings and our thoughts come out from experiences of the same thing are going to be totally different. And I totally understand that and can see that from like a client's point of view. You've got to really learn to get in and understand how they have reacted to a situation they've been in, because it could be totally different to how I would
Absolutely.
behave
Yeah.
or you would behave.
And but it has been definitely interesting to see how these philosophies impact the theories,
Yeah.
and in turn how those different philosophies are going to impact me.
Yeah.
Um,
A quote I wanted to share that I really liked, to kind of feel I live my life by, which is the key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best.
is that something you feel you do? You have done?
Absolutely, and I know from my own experience of having friends in the past and having that I definitely need to be around people who uplift me, and I have made decisions to, remove people from friendships. But even though I'm glad I've removed them, I'm still glad that they were part of my life, because I've learned a lot.
Taught you something.
Yeah, so even though he said, you should only keep company with these people, I'm still glad I was there, because I've learnt so much. And do you think there'll be any negative impact for you on counselling as a result of your stance?
Each person errs towards what they strongly believe. So as a counsellor, things, although the structure is always going to be person-centred, because it is all about the person. But I think I would always err towards the kind of logical, the questioning, the challenging. What about yourself?
Only that I do think sometimes I do have quite strong views on certain things, like the friendship thing. That is a strong view I have. So therefore, someone coming to me and saying that someone is negative on their life and yet they're still in their life and they're having to deal with it, I would find hard as a counsellor to deal with, because I still think a part of me would be going, you need that person out of your life. And I really am learning to get into, it's not about me, it's about what they're experiencing.
That's Hayley.
So,